me tell you a little bit about the Daisy Award, because maybe your family doesn't know about this, and it's so nice when family comes. So thank you again. Let me get rid of my junk here. So Daisy was an award that was started back in the 90s, and it was started by a family in Seattle, the Patrick Barnes family. And Patrick's family spent 6 weeks in a hospital with their son. Their 33-year-old son, who was a husband and a father, and who unfortunately passed away from a lengthy illness with complications of ITP. And while Patrick was in the hospital those 6 weeks in Seattle, they were, expecting the nurses to be clinical, smart, technical, all of those sorts of things. But what just absolutely touched their heart was the compassion the nurses gave to Patrick during his illness and to them dealing with his illness for those 6 weeks. So after Patrick passed away, they tell the story that they got together one night over a liquid dinner, and they thought, how can we honor the nurses for their compassion? And they started the Daisy Award, Diseases Attacking the Autoimmune System. And they thought it would be a local award in Seattle, and now it's in every state in the United States and international. And we give this very special award once a month to a very deserving nurse. And today, that is Colleen. And is somebody going to tell us why, or would you like me to read that? Okay, Lisa's going to do that. All right.
So this was a nomination that came in. I would like to nominate Colleen Syverson for the Daisy Award. My dad was on the SSEA Unit last week. Colleen was the RN who cared for him, and she could not have conveyed a more caring, empathetic, compassionate presence towards my dad. Not only did she provide the basic nursing care for my dad, but she took the much needed time to explain to him what they were going to do for him, which alleviated his anxiety about being in the hospital again. In the last month, he's been hospitalized for a GI bleed, fractured hip, and now this infection. My dad is very hard of hearing. He has 10% of his hearing with his hearing aids in, and Colleen talked low, slow, and in front of him, so he could also lip read without having to be told to communicate with him this way. She just knew what he needed. She was a great advocate for listening to him and what he wanted to do at time of discharge. He told me he really felt supported by her. My sister and I feel she really went over and above in the care of my dad, and knowing my 85-year-old dad felt it too was a great reward to my family. I really felt we hit the jackpot when we got Colleen for our nurse.
Good job. Very special, very special. So Daisy comes with prizes. There's all kinds of good things about Daisy. So this is a portfolio signed by the Barnes family and myself. Lisa, can I hand some of those off to you? You'll have a banner with your name on it for the month, which will be very special, and you'll probably be embarrassed by knowing you, Colleen, but it'll be all right. Kleenex partners with Daisy, because there's usually never dry eye in the place, hardly, but you're doing all right. And then a pin that you should wear very proudly. We'll pin that on you. Get this Daisy bag, and then somewhere there should be cinnamon rolls, right? Are there cinnamon rolls?
Yeah, there's some in the...
Yes, in the back.
Awesome. So let me tell you the story about cinnamon rolls. So one day when Patrick still could eat, his dad brought up to the hospital one of those big gooey Cinnabon. We've all had a Cinnabon at the mall roll. And he was going to eat it himself, Dad was. And Patrick said, "Oh, that smells really good. I think I'll have a bite." Proceeded to eat the whole thing and said, "Dad, can you bring these every day for me and the nurses?" So we don't have Cinnabons, and how the Barnes family really wants to connect cinnamon and nurses is that they say, every Daisy Award they give, most of the nurses always say, "It's just my job. It's just what we do." And the Barnes family wants you to know that it is more than just your job. It is more than just what you do. It is so special. And so they want nurses, every time they bake with cinnamon, taste cinnamon, or smell cinnamon, to think about how special you are. So there are cinnamon rolls, there are daisies, and then the best gift of all. And I'm always just amazed that I have not broken one of these yet, but every time I unwrap it, I think about it. This is a statue called the Healer's Touch. Good idea, Colleen, take that one. And this is handmade by artists in Zimbabwe. And the healers are very important in their culture, so they feel so honored to make them for Daisy. This is signed by your artist, and it is really just a remembrance of all that you do. And they, by partnering with Daisy, with these artists, they feed 14 families in this very impoverished nation. So, Colleen, we're so proud of you. So another round of applause for Colleen. Anything you'd like to say to the group?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ann Zook.
Thank you.
When I saw you, I knew it was.
And it was your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to say something? Come on in.
She did. She said.
As the resident hospital crier, you know, it's palliative care. I always, and I always cried in the BCLS movie when the guy went down with a fake heart attack. I love Colleen. I've known her forever, and I knew the second we came in, I said to my sister, "Oh my God, I hope we can get Colleen." And then we did, and it just felt like we won. And I love Dr. Reason, but we were having a discrepancy between the hospitalist and Dr. Reason, and Colleen knew that my sister and I needed support. She was there, and she just intuitively knew what we needed. So, forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's a great way to describe you, Colleen, as intuitive. You intuitively do know things. And thanks to family so much for coming. This makes it so special. My family's here.
When did they call you guys?
Years ago.
Years ago.